Listening to educators working in competency-based schools, their eyes light up when they talk about reaching each of their students on an individual level. That is the promise of competency-based learning, that every day kids come into school and they know what they're working towards, they have the learning resources and opportunities that help them get there. Students know that if they struggle at something or fail at something, that struggle doesn't define them, that they have another chance to show what they know and to show what they can do. The most persistent challenges we have in education are around equity. Some students make good progress every year, while other students struggle to master foundational skills, and those struggles compound class after class and year after year. One of the most important ways that schools can assess their competency-based education, their CBE efforts, is to be constantly asking, how well are we serving our students who are the furthest from opportunity? Are our efforts especially helpful to students who are less prepared than their peers? And are we identifying their strengths and helping them master foundational skills and concepts that they may have missed in the past?
The students that are the best at the game of school are students that are already advantaged. And the historically marginalized groups that come to school are the ones that have the hardest time playing the game of school. Knowing when you're supposed to go and double check with that teacher, or knowing that how the grade is determined, or how much the extra credit counts, or when to redo a quiz, or when to advocate for yourself. And I think the thing that excites me about proficiency-based learning, it doesn't eliminate all of those issues, but it's a step forward on several of those issues.
Competency-based education can be a way to be more responsive to individual student needs. In competency-based schools, students can spend more time on what challenges them and move faster through material that they grasp quickly. Many schools are building time into their schedules every day for students to get additional academic support from teachers. And what they've found is that putting this time into the daily schedule removes the stigma of going to a teacher's office hours and asking for help. Increased student ownership over learning is another factor for many schools implementing CBE. When students know the expectations for mastery, frequent formative assessments help them know exactly where they are in terms of mastering a skill or not. This empowers them to seek support if they need it. If choice is available in terms of assessment, students can leverage topics and ways of demonstrating mastery that excite them.
I had kids, they actually just did their cell analogy, and I had kids bring in whole computer towers and take them apart and show me all the parts of it and how it was like a cell. So every year they kind of surprise me with what they're doing. One year I had a student bring in an entire engine block and point out the different parts of the engine, because it was what he liked to work on. And so it really kind of grabbed him a little bit more than a cell would. It wasn't really, a cell's not relevant to him, but an engine is.
The process of implementing CBE forces administrators and teachers to sit down and talk about what the most important learning goals are for their students, and what kinds of performances of understanding best align with those goals. Sometimes schools realize that their pedagogy isn't actually supporting critical learning goals, or that assessments and goals are not aligned. This process also creates a shared language around teaching and learning. That means all stakeholders, from principals to parents, can communicate about the ways in which learning is happening or where there are difficulties.
We're all talking the same language, and I think we're all have targeted goals for our instruction. So I think it kind of keeps a consistency across the school, which I think is comforting to kids. I think they like consistent messages, and they like to know we're working toward a particular thing.
To me, this is an area where exploration of competency-based learning can really benefit even those schools that choose not to adopt competency-based approaches. It can help schools think deeply about what they expect students to know and be able to do. It can help schools think deeply about how students are allowed and encouraged to demonstrate mastery. And it can help schools look at programs, curricula, and teaching practice and ask whether what students do each day in schools is well aligned with what we hope they're able to do when they graduate.